All right, morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I am your host, Tone Vays, coming to you bright and early on the stream for a change, about 7 minutes earlier than the stream was set to start. Oh, my bad. I'm excited. Look at the price of Bitcoin. See a fresh new haircut. I've actually never had a goatee before. Thought I'd try something different. And man, things are looking great. So we are going to jump right into it and go straight to the charts. Check out the awesome background, work of World of Rusty. You can find him on Twitter. Thought I'd give him a shout out. All right. Let's go to the charts. Man, some people got really triggered by my pro-gun stance yesterday. I am pro-guns. I wasn't all that pro-gun when I was younger, when I was going through college, but times change. I am definitely a fan of the Second Amendment now. Though, of course, it was a tragedy that the media is not covering like they should. All right, let's go with high look, and then we're going to dive in to the smaller time frames. The monthly chart looks amazing. Actually, this is the weekly chart. I just wanted a little more granularity here. This is on a weekly chart, but it's a high level scale. Do I even have a monthly chart up now? I turned all my monthly charts into weekly charts. I may need to alter that. And that's also set as this is a monthly chart. Okay. Oh man, I gotta redo this. Anyway, these were my two projections. We have the rise early, but not as high in the bull cycle projection, and rise late, but higher in the bull cycle projection. Of course, if we're lucky, we're gonna go up early, and then we're gonna go up even higher late, but that's a little too optimistic, so let's stay real. I added a bunch of places where I was bearish. I'm gonna walk through this chart. I'm actually gonna separate it into a Tone Vays historically bullish, Tone Vays historically bearish. The important part is on this current monthly candle, I am as bullish as I have ever been at any point in my analysis of Bitcoin. I said this when Bitcoin was bouncing off of 20,000. I was quoted around 23,000, but the move from 20,000 to 23,000 only took a day and a half. So it only took a day and a half. So it's like, yeah, I was wrong by 24 hours, big deal. But I am as bullish bouncing off of 20,000 as at any point in Bitcoin's history. Someone is asking, did you see the chat GPT Bitcoin price prediction for January 2024? No, I have not, and I really don't care. Guys, I don't think chat GPT is the future, right? I've never used chat GPT. I have multiple views of chat GPT. It will tell you what you want to hear, plus a lot of bias. Like I don't believe in that it's an AI. I believe it's a biased answering system that was coded by a bunch of programmers and their bias in that coding. Like, I'm sorry, we are probably another generation or two away from a real AI. Like, we're just not there. And if ChatGPT is predicting X, it's going to be so wrong. It's either going to be wrong by a lot, either in one direction or the other. 20,000 January 2024, 250,000 January 2025. I will bet everything I have that it's going to be wildly wrong. So if ChatGPT is saying 20,000 in January, it's probably going to be closer to 50,000 in January. And if it's saying this January coming up, and if it's saying 250,000 January 2025, it will probably be closer to 100 or lower by Jan 2025. It's going to be wildly wrong. Okay. Let's look at the reality of the charts. I will trust my understanding of the charts way more than ChatGPT. Weekly chart, as I stated yesterday. Oh, by the way, the video that I did, oh, this is great, but it's politics related. Let's not go there. I'm not gonna play this video. I'm gonna just go to my own channel. But this was great. Someone actually asked a tough question of a politician, of a UN politician. Let's go to my channel. So 2 days ago, I had the following video title. Oh, gotta go to live. I hate that YouTube did that. Will this be the week of another Bitcoin breakout? Notice how I said, will this be the week? I didn't say, will today be the breakout, right? I said the week because I knew that we might pull back. And yet everyone and their mother started screaming, oh my God, look how wrong he is, because Binance news came out right after my video and Bitcoin dipped $200. So the chart pattern was still there. In yesterday's video, I remained bullish with, an open mind to down to 25,000, which I said would have been a healthy correction. And here we are today. I also said that this doji weekly candle is not something that bothers me at all. And we did not even make it to 25,000. Look at us today. We are making a brand new weekly high. I know it's only Tuesday, so it's way too early to start thinking about where the weekly candle will close. The 4-day candle is a lot closer to closing, and that candle will close tonight, actually, in about 11 hours. And we're going to close at a brand new swing high. That's, of course, bullish. But the most important chart is the daily. The daily and the short-term charts. Here is the breakout line. This is the 4-hour chart. We hit it one more time. What do you think is going to happen? I am insanely confident that we are going to break above this line. Very, very confident. Is it going to happen today? I don't know. Ideally, it happens tomorrow, because tomorrow is when we get a daily green star candle the moment we start trading above today's candle. So personally, I would love to see a 10 a.m. pullback in the markets, Bitcoin consolidate above 28,000 the rest of the day. The top for the day, I would like to see that top hold. Ideally, I would love to see this top of 28,600 hold as the daily high, and then close the candle as close to 28.5 as possible. And tomorrow, we can just break this line and go all the way to 30K in a single day, which I think is very, very possible if the stock market cooperates and also rises. I also think that if that happens, we will see a brand new swing high in GBTC discount. Or, yeah, I guess that's how I would state it. So that is 34.5% discount. And I think this leg to 30K will probably make that go to a new swing high. I'm really eyeing this line of GBTC discount going closer to 0 than 30%. And once that happens, then we're going to just inch closer and closer to 0. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. 40K by June. 40K by June is possible, but if it does, there's going to be a very big pullback. As you guys know, my target for this upswing is the bottom end of the breakout area at 34,000. I think going to 34,000 will create a bit of a pullback. And the sooner we get there, the harsher the pullback could be. So I don't want to get there too soon. I would rather get there in June, not in May. Well, not in April, for sure. May, June, mid to late May would be fine. But Bitcoin moves super quickly. We can certainly get there very quick. If we get there quick, I will be looking for a pullback to the moving average, which is rising. The 50 period Sorry, this is the 200 week moving average, and the yellow one is the 50, and the blue, no, yellow one's 20, blue's 50. There you go. That should be the moving average. Wish I had my colors. Style. Oh, I'm using triple MA forecast. Okay, I have different indicators I use here. Yeah, it's 20, 50, 200. Okay. The daily chart, let's zoom out a bit, get a nice perspective. 25,000 will remain critical support, unfortunately. Because we did not hit 25,000, 25,000 will be support for a long time. That means even if we go to 60,000 by June, 25,000 remain as a reasonable pullback until all these moving averages are way above 25,000. 25,000 will remain an area of concern all the way until the halving. The only thing that could change 25,000 as a reasonable pullback is the halving or a new swing high, a new all-time high. I'm saying this now and I'm saying it early. 25,000 will always be my area of concern. Just like the prior swing high of 19,000 remained an area of concern. And notice how we pulled right into that. I'm surprised I don't have that line. I'm sure I had it on other time frames. And we even broke below it. We almost made it all the way back to this secondary swing high, which would have been 14,000. And right now, because we already pulled back to 20, the one place I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go is 20. I give the probability of going below 20 right as of this moment, like 5 to 10%. There's like a 5% chance we break below 20. That's how confident I am it's not going to happen. Now, 25%, that's different. At the moment, I'm still like 55% confident we're going to come back and test 25. But that will always be an area of concern going forward until we backtest it. We need at least a year to go by before I give up on 25 as a potential pullback target. No, I think we need to hold 25. 22 is a very, very bad area. See, because 21.5 was already support. And now we've gone to a higher swing high. I don't want to see us go below this 50 period moving average on a daily at this point. Because even if we do start to go down, the 50 period will be above 25 in about 4 days. 25 is my line. Anything below 25 is big trouble. Thoughts on ChatGPT being woke? It's 100% woke. It's totally woke. It's clear that it was programmed by a woke developer. It's absolutely clear. ChatGPT is completely biased to woke culture. To woke mentality, I should say. It's not a culture. And by the way, if ChatGPT was biased in the opposite direction, it would also be bad. ChatGPT is just not neutral. Like I'm sorry, guys, it is not neutral. It is biased. If it was biased in the opposite direction, I mean, I would feel better for society, but I would still question calling it an AI. I've seen enough of other people using it that it's obvious that it's woke bias. It's just obvious if it's woke bias. If you train it yourself, but that's what I mean, right? It's going to be biased to your views then. You train it yourself, so you're going to make it biased towards you. It's going to be biased. It's going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to be biased. AI is just a computer algorithm, guys. Don't read too much into it. It's like the cloud. It's like someone else's server, someone else's hard drive, someone else's computer. That's what we call the cloud. An AI is just someone's computer algorithm. Yeah, talk to people instead. I agree. Any thoughts on the Restrict Act? Get a second passport? I know some people that can help with that. If someone's interested, I can connect you to my contacts to help you set up a second passport. Just find a way to reach out to me. A legit second passport. Let's I know there's 3-letter agencies watching. It won't be cheap, but look, the sooner the United States goes full tyrannical, the sooner they go full Stasi on people, you know, the sooner the breakup of the United States will take place. I've been very, very clear about this. The more freedom is created in the United States, the longer the country will stay together. The more the country tries to become East Germany, the more people are going to rebel. Like Klaus Schwab will not win. Freedom always wins. I don't know what that means for the United States. It could become 50 different countries, and a few of them will have some freedom, or way more freedom than now. But the more the government pushes with tyrannical legislation, the more people are going to rebel. And based on the amount of guns in the US, it's not going to be pretty. Oh, what does ChatGPT being woke mean for the average person? Oh, it means that it's biased against conservative views. And it's like, here's an example, right? You ask it to say a joke about Biden and it will do it. It'll make fun of, sorry, you ask him to make fun of Trump, it'll do it. You ask him to make fun of Biden, it won't. You ask him to make fun of, you know, or say something bad about Christians, it will. You ask it to say something bad or make fun of Muslims, it won't. It's biased towards the woke ideology. So you just gotta Google the word woke. There's lots of definitions for it. Basically, the social justice warriors and those that find every cause except their own what do you call it? Except their own hypocrisy. It has a bias favoring the left and the socialist Marxist side of the cultural spectrum. Oil. Oil is rising, as stated here many, many times. And that's not going to be good for inflation. Look, it does now, but it didn't before. So I will grant you, why are we arguing over ChatGPT? If you like ChatGPT, use ChatGPT. I don't like ChatGPT. I don't like ChatGPT. Like, I don't understand this mentality of you guys that just because I am not a fan of something, but you are a fan of something, I have to be a fan of that something. Like, I have the same view to Bitcoin. Like, I like Bitcoin. I try to convince people to use Bitcoin. If the person doesn't like Bitcoin, great, fine, more for me. Like, it's I don't understand this. Like it's just this weird mental thing. Like, if you like it, use it. I'm not stopping you from using it. Go ahead, enjoy it. Whatever peels your banana, guys, just do it. The reason why it makes Biden jokes now is because everyone made a big deal out of it and they trained it to do that. But you don't know what you need to train it for. So when you are a little kid using ChatGPT, it's gonna mold you in a certain way because you don't have the capacity of training it to your neutral view. This is the problem. The problem is you don't know what you don't know. So when you recognize the fact that it's biased, yes, you can do something about it. But when you don't recognize the fact that it's biased, it will mold you to its view. And its view is a lot more left than right. And it's clearly not neutral by default. Well, I stated yesterday to watch out for today being the reversal in natural gas with an MRI buy, and here we are. I mean, I might use it to write some letters for me, you know? Like, I would love to find a good algorithm to do my graphic design. I think these things are super cool. But I'm not going to go to ChatGPT to learn history, for God's sakes. Someone is asking, is an organic banana worth the extra money? No, it's not. I eat a lot of fruit, but bananas is not one of those fruits. Too starchy. I've never had a goatee. My first one. But I'd try something different. So what are we looking at for natural gas? That's 3 green arrows in a row. That's pretty damn powerful. Unfortunately, the moving averages of resistance is right above us. So this rally could be short-lived, but on a longer time frame, as I've stated many times, this is the time where natural gas rallies hundreds of percent. It's that cyclical time. This could be it. I have no idea if it will be or not. But if you, I've only traded natural gas futures, like very little. It's a highly leveraged contract. It's unreasonably leveraged. If we go to CME, natural gas futures, it's probably unreasonably leveraged. Let's check this out. What you want to do is you want to go to spec and you want to see the leverage on the futures contract. That's the spread. Okay. What's the leverage? What are you buying here? 10,000 contract unit, 10,000 MMBTU. I haven't traded this in a decade, guys, so this might take me a minute. So commodity spread. Okay, so this much is 250. Minimum price fluctuation. This thing is so super leveraged. Like a $1 move in the gas contract is probably like $10,000 in your portfolio. This thing is leveraged. My best guess, it's leveraged like 500 or 1,000 to 1. Like it's a ridiculously leveraged contract. This is why it's so dangerous to trade. It's crazy leverage. This thing moves $1 against you, you're going to realize you just lost your entire account. I may need more time to figure out the actual leverage on this. Like I know what the leverage on oil is, S&P is, because I traded those all the time. I didn't trade this too often. So it's a rough contract to trade. There's ETFs you can use, but as far as the futures contract, the real price discovery, it's not easy. So I need the units of this. Like, for example, an oil contract is 100 barrels of oil. But I don't know what it is, MMBTU. Okay, got it. So in this contract, this is an MMBTU. Okay. So this would be 10,000 units. You buy one contract, you're buying 10,000 of these. So 10,000. So this is how you can do the math. Never do math on live air. That's a golden rule that I'm breaking. So you would buy 10,000 of these. So this would be a $20,000 contract, right? And you can do this with just $5,000. At least that's what it used to be. $5,000. What's the minimum here? It takes in 0.025 and that equals 250. Okay. Commodity spread. So if this thing moves 10 cents, you got to multiply these, right? So this is 10,000 contracts of that stuff. This is 250. So if this thing moves, I just like thinking of it in dollar terms. If this thing moves $1 in your favor, you will make $10,000. Okay. So a $1 move is 10 grand. So this thing moves by $1. If it goes down $1, which I think is unlikely, but you never know. If this thing goes down $1, like it went down $1 from here, So this $1 move, and that's your minimum size. So the move from here to here, that would be a $10,000 loss in your portfolio. That's 10 grand out of your portfolio for a $1 move. Gold, I remain bullish on gold. S&P is just stuck in this crazy place, and I really want it to rise. Markets are about to open in 6 minutes, so I'll check that out. The S&P is rising. As you guys know, I am bullish on risk on assets. And the irony here is that the stock market is rising and the interest rates are rising. We can see that the 2-year is rising. We can still see the inverse yield curve. The 2-year yield is higher than the 5-year yield, which is higher than the 10-year yield. But the 30-year is higher than the prior two, but the 2-year is still higher. I think the yield curve is going to uninvert. We still have an inverted yield curve, and I think that is going to switch. An inverted yield curve is, indicating recession. But once again, I could not see any correlation between yields in government bonds and Bitcoin. And yield is rising, and Bitcoin is about to go to a swing high, and the yield is not at a swing high. And the yield was at a swing high over there too. So I still can't find any correlation whatsoever. If I go to a 10-year, I have my little markings here. So I see absolutely no correlation between yield and Bitcoin price. And I am one of the few people that I believe that yields have very little to do with the stock market also. So I can see yield going to a brand new high, brand new, 20-year high, 30-year high? How far can we go? How far can we move this? Weekly chart. Yield can go to a brand new, let's say the yield goes, let's say the 10-year yield goes about 5.3. If it goes about 5.3, it would be at a 20-year high. There is in March of 02, yield was 5.4. Let's say the 10-year yield gets to 5.5. Should do a line chart. Right here would be a 20-year high in yield. 20-year high in yield, and the stock market would be at a brand new all-time high. So I would love for someone to explain it to me, how the yield goes from 0 up to 5.5%, and high yields are supposed to be bad for the stock market, and the stock market rallies with the yield. Because remember, the stock market had crashed. In March 2020, the stock market was back here. Stock market was down to just over 2,000. And I would love for someone to explain the situation to me, how yield goes from 0 all the way up to a 20-year high, and the stock market triples, right? Let's say the stock market goes to 6K in the next few years. That's what I think will happen. Then the stock market is going to go to 6K, but it doesn't have to go to 6K. I just like round numbers, right? I want a tripling of the stock market from March 2020 with a massively rising yield. And this notion of people that markets go up because yields are falling and the yields are rising, therefore the markets are falling, is insane. Because my expectation is that in the next few years, the 10-year yield is going to be above 5.5%, and the stock market is going to be at 6,000. So tripling the lowest possible yield. And try to say that to all the people that are selling stocks every time the Fed says we're going to raise yields. How does that, how is that not a contradiction? Like every time the Fed says we're going to raise yields, market drops. Every time the Fed raises rates, market crashes on the day of the Fed announcement. So how could it be that the yield has gone up from 0 to right now a 10-year high, 15-year high, and the market is almost at all-time high? It's a massive contradiction in people's heads that they just don't understand. That's correct. The dollar index that doesn't affect. I mean, look, of course it affects them, but it affects them on such a minimal level that it's irrelevant. When something, when a thing has a 5% effect, I chalk that up to no effect, right? If you have 95% is caused by one thing and 5% is caused by another, some people think that the 5% is the 95% reason, which is insane. The 5% reason is close to irrelevant. So yes, the dollar index is close to irrelevant for the stock market and for Bitcoin. It is close to irrelevant. It is a little more relevant for gold, but it's still closer to irrelevant than relevant, even for gold. Even for gold. We were discussing this on Spaces the other day. This is minor profitability. Minor profitability is actually still down 65%. I wanted to take a look at this chart. Minor profitability finds a way to come back to the prior swing high. This was the $3,000 low in November, December of 2018. This was probably the biggest reason as to why my $1,300 to $1,500 target on this bear market did not work out. Because, in hindsight, this was right after the first halving. And this was so far after the next halving that the minor profitability did pull back to the prior swing high. Now, the next halving came over here in 2020, and we're still not back, not another halving in. And this time around, we did pull back to the prior swing high. The next halving is coming. And once the next bull market starts, and let's say Bitcoin does go to 250,000, let's say it does go to $250,000, we need to be aware of this minor profitability area of 65,000. So even if we go straight up to $250,000, we may not pull back all the way to 65,000, but we will likely pull back to this area of minor profitability. And after the next halving, this minor profitability will just crash back down. I don't think we're going to go all the way back here. Minor profitability at the next halving will take us down in half. So let's see where we are in the next halving. I think we will be near this line at the next halving. We'll be closer to that $65,000 mark at the next halving. How would you make the case for South Africa to buy Bitcoin when the power grid is unstable? Well, the power grid would be stable if they were mining Bitcoin. I mean, that If South Africa gets into mining Bitcoin, it would actually stabilize their power grid. All right, I'm gonna close this. Oh, this is the Binance token. Guys, Binance is in serious trouble. And the Binance token, let's open the MRI here. Monthly chart, Binance token. Let's see if the MRI helped us. Come on, MRI top. Give me an MRI top on a monthly. That'll be awesome. Still loading. Still loading. Come on. Come on. Oh, almost. But that would have been a warning arrow. You would have had a warning arrow in the beginning of this candle. And we've now gone past the 1 to 4 candle correction. This is the 4th monthly candle. And Binance is in serious trouble. It is sitting at very critical support. Once a support like this is lost, it is a miracle if it ever gets back there. I don't think it has ever happened. Not even for Ethereum. I don't think this has ever happened. This is the support it cannot lose. If it loses this support, and I am 90% confident that it will, the Binance token will never break Bitcoin's all-time high. This is it. We can look at Binance USD as well. But I think the Binance token's done. It's versus Bitcoin that matters, not versus USD. Now, on a weekly scale, what is this note? Let me see. It's probably on a daily scale. Yeah, I was doing a workshop around this time. So here it is on a daily scale, hitting a monster MRI top on a daily and falling 25% in a few weeks, right into an MRI buy, right into an MRI sell. Binance on a daily scale looks terrible. This is a very bearish trend. You had a red star candle that followed an MRI buy that didn't reverse the price, just a small consolidation. The Binance token is bearish. Oh man, I really, where is it? Here it is. I've never talked about this anymore, man. This is the MRI notification service. You can use it for free for a few weeks. It is a paid service. I didn't build it. And you can look at your shitcoin portfolio. There's a crypto portfolio here. We can find Binance. Binance versus Bitcoin. The bearish, bearish, bearish. These are your monthly, daily, and weekly. Daily, weekly, monthly. And you can click on it. Binance versus Bitcoin. And here they are. And you can see how it's bearish across the board. And you can look at your weekly. Oh, weekly is coming up on a second consecutive MRI buy. That's interesting. Very interesting. And monthly is bearish as well. So the monthly is bearish. And the weekly is bearish. Sorry, the weekly is about to bottom. And the daily is bearish. But the daily could align with the weekly. You can actually have a bounce in the Binance token. So keep an eye on that as well. But this is a very critical line right here. I can look through other shitcoins and you will see the same thing. In Doge, we have to take this line all the way back to the front. We have to take this line to inception. The prior swing high. Once this line is lost, that's it. This high will never be beaten. I shouldn't say never, but it just doesn't happen. In Ethereum, Ethereum has not gotten there yet. Ethereum's line is back here. So Ethereum still has a well. No, look, that's the line for Ethereum. Ethereum fell below this line, and that solidified this top. I don't think it's ever going back there. It's already fallen below this area. It is. I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened. Like, you can go through the history of it, right? Like, here's Monero. Once you fall back below, it's over. If I use the line for Monero, again, that line happens to be inception right here. We're now below it. It's never going to go back there. Like, you're just never going to reach those highs again. It just doesn't happen. I don't think there's ever been an instance of that. For Litecoin, I probably would have said this in real time, right? Right here. Once you fell below this critical low, that's it. This top would never be breached again. And we did fall below that low. You reversed on an MRI buy. You never made it back to the top. I mean, they're just never going to go they're never going to go above Bitcoin. They're never going to beat their prior swing highs. It has never happened. And for as long as Binance holds this line, it's possible for Binance to recapture and make a new high. But once it goes below it, and it like spends a decent amount of time below it, it's over. It's never going to breach that high again. Cardano, same thing. Done. Cardano's a little trickier because it started here and it went up. So for Cardano, it just breached it. This is it. It just breached it. We really have to talk about that one. We're never going to go back above this one. That's it. It's over. They just never go back. It has never, ever happened. Ever. Done. Over. New lows. Same thing. New lows. Once it breached this area of support, that's it. Done. You can use the prior support, or you can even use the prior resistance. It depends where the breakdown takes place. They're done. Zcash. Oh, God. What the? I can't even look at that chart. What the hell is this? Same thing right here. Prior swing high. Done. Over. This is where Binance is right now. This is the Binance candle right now. It's here. Swing high, swing high. Let's ignore the first month of the token. Double swing high breakout. Goes below it, it's over. It'll have some rebounds, but that's it. It's not even going to come close. This is the Binance. This is the same candle right here. That's the candle. This is V chain, whatever the hell that is. But this is the Binance candle that you're looking at right now. That's the same candle. Same candle. Here's your double top. Same candle. I don't think this candle is going to break the line, but if next candle crashes, that's it. It's over. Like, you can hold on to your bag and watch it go to zero, but like, it's up to you, really. Link, same thing. Boom, broke to new lows. Prior swing high. It doesn't have a stable prior swing high, but once it, you can choose your poison. This line with this candle, or this line here breaking to new lows below this candle. It's over. Get a little bit of a rebound. Once it breaks this low, you repeat the pattern all over again. Done. Dead. Not even worth discussing. Again, dead. New all-time low. Done. New all-time low is even worse. Solana. Boom. Solana did it as well. Over. It's over. You can either use these highs right here with these two candles. You already pulled back into it. Or if you're optimistic, you could have used these lows. But it's done. If you're super optimistic, You can say, well, as long as it has support right here, and as long as it bounces off of this support, it has a chance to go to a new all-time high. I will take the under. I don't believe that can possibly happen. It's over right here. This break, this red star candle, done. Never going back there. Tron, same right here. This break solidified the all-time high. Over right there. You went back to it. You pulled back to this break, and now you're going to create a new one down here. And once you go below it, you can rally back to it. You can even break it by a smidge. And then it's that. I mean, that's it. Can you profit on them? Sure. But there is no chance it's going to go even above this high again. Same thing here. They're all done. Done. Oh, that's a cash version. Done. Over. It's over. You see, the moment this made new lows, this is B trash. The moment it made new lows, the moment it went under this area, this breakdown here with this red star candle, that's it. There was no way in hell it was going to go to a new swing high. Impossible. Done. Now it established a new swing high, and now I think it's impossible, now that it's broken under this prior swing high here, now that it's under that, and it started in January of this year, that's it. It'll never break this swing high again. And once it rallies back up to the prior swing low, if it rallies back up, once again, yeah, it can rally. It can go a smidge above it. And then it's going to go and establish a new swing low. It's just how markets function. That's it. Done. Oh, new swing low, new all-time low. Same concept. Same concept. New all-time low. You go down. You can go back up and break it by a smidge, and then you go lower. Somewhere over here, somewhere in the negatives, you're going to owe them money by holding it. Same shit. Uh-oh. New all-time low incoming. Well, not all-time low, but new swing low incoming. Same concept. Filecoin, same thing. Matic was the only one, right? So Matic still has a shot. The only one on my list that has a shot. Because it has not yet broken to new lows. So because it doesn't have a prior swing high, this is the line in the sand. As long as it's above this line, it has a chance at new highs. You can't rule new highs out. But the moment it goes below this line, because that is the new swing low area, right? This is too close to call. Because if you look at the very low, you didn't really break it, right? You had a new low close, but your new low close was approximately where the prior swing low was. And you had consecutive tops, and this still looks like an ascending triangle-ish, or consolidation. As long as it's in consolidation, but once this line breaks decisively, that's it. These highs are here to stay. They're never going to be beaten again. And it's only a matter of time before it gets down there. So that's it. And again, the newer the token, the better the chance. Here's, I have to look at a weekly chart here because it's not old enough yet. Weekly chart, MRI top, right? So this might be it for the Telegram token. Because on a weekly scale, that is the prior swing high. And you've gone above it, and now you've gone below it. That's a problem for this token versus Bitcoin. This top is probably here to stay. Probably. We need a few more weeks, maybe a few more months. Ideally, I want to see it break this low as well. Once this low is established, I would then be 98% confident that this token will never breach its all-time high versus Bitcoin. Like, even if there is a bull market in the altcoin season, it doesn't matter. These tokens will not go to new highs. Now, if a token was created, like I really thought that of all the tokens, it would be this one because it's so new. But you can see that it's already gone below its prior swing high. It just hasn't gone below this low. Once it goes below this low, that's it. I've become 98% confident it's never going to breach this high. Doesn't mean it can't rally 1,000%, right? Well, it can't rally 1,000%. It can rally a few 100% versus Bitcoin. Now, versus USD, it sure can rally a few 1,000%. I don't even know what its USD price is, probably small. All right, let's look at traditional markets. They're now open. I'm going to go to a 10-minute chart. This is 8:50. Something happened early on in the morning. Were there any economic announcements? Consumer confidence is coming in at 10 a.m. No, that was, why do I have the data already? If it's a 10 a.m. announcement, why do we have the data? That's weird. Maybe they got the time wrong? That's strange. Like, how do they know what the actual consumer confidence is if we're not supposed to know until 10 a.m.? Is my clock on my computer wrong? Weird. Very weird. No major announcements, unless they announced this at 8:30 in the morning and consumer confidence crushed it. Expected 101, they got 104. That could be it. I don't know what the 8:30 news was, but it rallied the stocks. Looking like a new high coming in for 10 a.m. Would I take the 10 a.m. reversal trade? We crashed at 9:30. We're heading high for 10 a.m., but we're not really up anything. We're up 1 point off the open. I wouldn't exactly call that a rally into 10 a.m. Hey, moderators, any good questions while I was ranting about shitcoins? Tone, once stable coins entered the world, I lost 99% confidence in the price of Bitcoin. It's simply not realistic. Some entities create coins to purchase Bitcoin as much as they want. Well, how's that different than any other asset, including real estate, right? Like, how is that different than your house? Some entities can print all the money they want and buy property with that money. So I don't understand your fear. How is that different than gold? How is that different than your car? How is that different than your shirt? Like, if you need something, right? Like, you're going to need Bitcoin. Everyone's going to need Bitcoin. The government is going to confiscate your money. The government is going to censor your transactions. Everyone's going to need Bitcoin, right? It doesn't change the fact how people get it. Hey, Tom, can you please analyze and comment on Bitcoin versus M2 money supply? I have to put the chart together. Elaborate on whether that chart actually matters and why. I don't know if it matters. I really don't. I can try and see if I can piece something together. So it's BTC USD. but I want the index divided by, if I type M2, what happens? What's the ticker for money supply? Let's see. M2 money stock. There it is. WM2NS. United States money supply M2. I mean, are they the same? US M2 is the other one. Let me see. All right, we got 21.123 US M2. 21.26. Interval is not applicable. The hell does that mean? Interval less than monthly is not applicable. Okay. Are they the same? Can someone comment? This looks like M2. They look the same, but the other one is weekly, right? They're both coming from Federal Reserve. M2 money stock. I think they're the same. There's also this one. I mean, they're close. I'll use the one that gives me weekly data. How far back does it go? It goes back pretty far. To 1982. Yeah, I think they're the same. Okay. So I can do that. So should I put BTC first? Let's see. Looks just like the price of Bitcoin. We can multiply this by something. Just to make it change the scale. Nope, doesn't have to scale. Not yet. I need a few more zeros. Too many. There we go. There we go. Scaling. What I multiply that by? 1 billion? I mean, this is the chart of Bitcoin. It's the same chart. There is nothing to comment on. It's the same chart. Because the money supply is just, it's not rising fast enough to make a difference. You can add one more zero here. There we go. Well, it looks identical. So the tops came in at 30, 31, and right now we're at 13. So we're down 56%, and Bitcoin is down. %. Like I don't see what the different, like stop wasting your time, guys. The only thing is, right, like right here, Bitcoin's worth more in dollars, but over here, Bitcoin's worth the same. It's worth less because they printed more money, right? But like, stop wasting your time. Like, this is the price of Bitcoin. Just waste the time. See, this is surprising. I really thought the dollar would be a little bit stronger versus other shit fiat. Divide it the other way around. Sure. And divide it the other way. M2, what was it? Yeah. M2 money stock. Divide by Bitcoin. It's not going to make a difference. You can just right, but you can also invert the Bitcoin chart, and you're going to get the same chart. It's the same chart. You don't have to divide $1 trillion, right? You can divide $1. You can do 1 over. Like it's the same chart. You can do 1 over. Like it's the same chart, guys. It just stop wasting time looking at useless metrics. It's the same thing. Oh, this is what I was going to look at. Remember how I've been saying for a while? I haven't seen the chart yet, but I heard somewhere that the Ukrainian currency is having issues since the IMF loan. So I want to go and take a look at that. Here's the Russian ruble. The Russian ruble is still dropping against the US dollar. That is also a little surprising to me. And yeah, so I'm not sure where I heard it. It's not being reflected here. I did hear that in Ukraine, the Ukrainian hryvnia is devaluing rapidly against the dollar, but this chart is not reflecting that. So either the podcast was mistaken or it just hasn't reflected yet. But I've been anticipating a monster devaluation of the Ukrainian currency because the US government will not be able to support this currency forever. Pegs break. The peg has already broken for 25%, and I anticipated another 25% correction, which would take it to approximately 50. And the moment the Ukrainian currency breaks parity with the Russian ruble, it basically spells massive trouble for Ukraine. And I explained why that would be. Turkish currency still, oh man, it's getting worse. It's getting worse in Turkey. Not good. That is not good. And not looking good for India either. I'm actually high on India. All right, guys, I gotta get going. I've been on for over an hour. The halving is coming. I think it would be in March. We had a new difficulty adjustment. The last difficulty adjustment was over 7.5%, huge. The current is on pace for just 1%. But as the price of Bitcoin rises, more miners will come online. So I think everything will get speed up. I still think it will be in March. Hey guys, Unconfiscatable and the Financial Summit are the events. Now, hopefully Bitcoin is over 50,000 and everyone is wealthy and you want to come and hang out with us. The Financial Summit is more focused on trading and investing, which is what this channel is about. Unconfiscatable is more about Bitcoin. And the reason to own it now before the Restrict Act becomes law. In my experience, the more tyrannical the government legislation, the higher the probability that it will pass. Let me tell you something that's not going to pass. And that is removing daylight savings time. U.S. bill to remove daylight savings time. I don't want to go to Reddit. Right. This bill will never pass. The reason why this bill will never pass is because it actually makes sense. This is something that should have never, ever, ever been put in. I mean, it's not like it's dangerous or anything like that, but this bill needs to, I don't understand why they can't pass it, but they will never, ever pass it. And the reason they'll never pass it is because it's good to remove this thing. It'll actually save lives. There is a spike in suicides, and there is a spike in automobile accidents. Well, like, more people statistically die because of this than if it didn't exist, right? So this is a no-brainer to get rid of, and they never ever will. Now, the Restrict Act is one of the worst, most tyrannical piece of legislation that the government can put together. So obviously, it's going to pass with flying colors. Jonathan M says, just grow up and look at your phone for time zones. That is the kind of attitude that creates unnecessary laws that could eventually one day get you arrested. This is not one of those laws, but this is how the government ends up with 1 trillion laws on the books, by putting in unnecessary legislation and regulation. So your attitude, just look at your phone, is the problem. Like, when you say just do so and so because the government told you so, is a mental problem, because I shouldn't have to, and no one should have to. This bill has nothing to do with TikTok. This bill has to do with them declaring anyone a criminal if they use the internet the way the government doesn't want you to use it. So it could be anything. You can do 20 years in jail by using a VPN. This has nothing to do with TikTok. They're using TikTok as an example, but this bill has nothing to do with TikTok. But like I said, this is an example of how one of the biggest stupidities became the norm, and now it's impossible to eliminate it. This is just completely stupid. And it became, it was proposed in the mid-1800s in New Zealand. Like, we still can't get rid of New Zealand. And Germany put it in because they thought it would save them energy, and it probably did back in the 40s to help them fight the war. And now everyone put this in, but in today's day and age, this is completely insane. And everyone knows it's insane, and they still can't get rid of it. That's the problem with government. When you put in something stupid, you can't get rid of it. That's why you need to avoid putting in something stupid. And yes, I chose the most stupid thing I can think of off the top of my head as something we've been doing for 100 years now that is completely dumb, and we're still doing it. That's the problem with government putting in laws. Especially the dumber they are, the longer they stay. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. And see you all on the next one. Loving the breakout. Still bullish, 100% allocation. We're sticking with it. Bye, guys. I got the goatee look going, so I try something new.